appreciate you guys all coming, and I really appreciate you doing this event here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all go. Somebody sit down. Dad, come sit down. Not that I'm pointing to the ones who might be older, but Dad.
Guys,
don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the front row.
Ladies.
Well, y'all, thank you. Y'all are so sweet. Y'all are all so sweet. Y'all make me happy, my little friends. Thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to be here. Super excited about my book. The two comments I get most often is, a lot of people say to me, I didn't know you had cancer. And so I thought, number one, that's a good thing, because that means it's been a long time, and it means I make new friends, right? So that's good. And then I also get a lot of, you were writing a book? I never knew you were writing a book. That was kind of by design. I didn't really publicize that very much. I didn't want the pressure of people asking me about it. My mom outed me once at Bible study, though. She knew I was working on it, and she used me as an example in front of everybody and said, now, Sydney, tell us about that, because that's kind of what you're doing when you're writing your book. And everybody went, oh, Mom! But anyway, but just to give you a little background, back in 2005, August 11th, when I got the call, I had cancer, phone call that I had cancer, I really didn't set out to write a book, but I just started journaling. I always journaled like paper, but for some reason I opened up a Microsoft Word document and just started writing, like that day, just started blah, 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 blah. And by the end of it, I had almost 100 pages in a Microsoft Word document of just journaling. And I didn't have any intention of what to do with that at all. It just poured out, though. Everything from, desperation to hope to the things that everybody had been doing to help encourage me and the truths that God had been speaking to me. And so it was really a couple of years later that I realized that that's what God wanted me to do, because I had so many conversations with people, both people with cancer, but also with people who knew someone that had cancer. And I was having an equal number of those conversations, and the encouragement and the hope that I got through it applied to those sets of people. And I realized that I needed to share with what God had done in my life and the things that He'd given me, because those same conversations kept coming up. As well as having that conversation with people who not had cancer, but just going through difficult things in their lives. And those of y'all that are here know our family has continued to go through some difficult things, and those truths apply over and over in our lives again. Okay, so I'm just going to read like a chapter out of the book. Never read a chapter out of the book out loud, so it's kind of new to me. The book has different sections. In each chapter, it has a little excerpt from my journal, and then it has the truth that I felt like God was teaching me, and then it has what is called a pink ribbon thought, which is just, it's kind of a part of my journal, but it's what I wish people understood as I went through cancer. And so it's supposed to give insight to people who know someone that might be struggling with cancer, but I've had so much feedback from people who have been through things, and not just cancer, that read those and go, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my gosh, you put to words how I've always felt. That's God, because I could never put anybody else's feelings into words, and so that's been really cool. So when I read it, I'll kind of tell you as I get to each of those parts. I want to read my dedication page because it's very special to me. It is for my mom, Janecka Hobbs, and it says, You instilled in me a love for writing and journaling, and encouraged me to use those gifts to fill the pages of this book. I know the timing of its completion is God's, but I wish you could have read it. A lot of y'all have been very sweet, encouraging me, and said my mom would be very proud, and I think she would too. I think she'd be pleased. So, okay, chapter 1. Just keep walking. This is my journal excerpt. I just received a call from the surgeon's nurse. Her words were, We got the results back from your biopsy, and unfortunately, it was cancer. Just yesterday, I called for the results, and they were not yet available, and I thought to myself, well, good. At least I will have one more day before I have to deal with having cancer for the rest of my life. Well, I guess that day is here, as is the rest of my life. We got the results back from your biopsy. Unfortunately, it was cancer. Those were the nurse's words on the phone call I received that Thursday morning in August. I was at home with my children. I remember where I was sitting. I remember not knowing what to say or what to ask, so I just sat and listened. The nurse explained that my cancer was ductal carcinoma in situ. I remember asking her to spell that. I even had to practice saying it. She said it was grade 2 because it was still inside the duct, but it appeared it was getting ready to spread. She said it was serious and needed to be taken care of immediately. She also said that my estrogen receptors were not back yet. I was not sure what that meant. I was not sure what any of it meant. So I hung up the phone and searched the internet for the definition of my diagnosis. Once I got a basic explanation, I walked away from the computer, not yet ready to wade through the insurmountable amount of information, blogs, and postings. I remember watching my kids run around playing. They were like this little at the time, by the way, not this little. And thinking I was not ready to start on this journey. For some reason, I thought not telling anyone the news would mean that the journey had not yet begun. I immediately began to wonder how I was going to tell my husband. He was at work, waiting for me to call with the biopsy results. I decided to email him and asked him to call me when he had a moment to talk. He called immediately. I told him what the nurse said. Unfortunately, it was cancer. He asked me a few questions, but quickly realized that I didn't have much information at that point. He was very calm, as usual. Y'all know Daryl. He was very calm and very reassuring. If he was scared, he didn't show it. We decided not to tell anyone about the cancer just yet. We were scheduled to meet with the doctor the following morning to get a better understanding of the diagnosis. I remember feeling very frustrated that a nurse would call and tell me I had cancer and then proceed to tell me that the doctor could not meet with me until the following day, 24 hours later. At that point, one day felt like a week. So my husband and I decided to spend that time together, attempting to get our minds around the little information that we had. Fortunately, I'm blessed with a husband who was able to think clearly when my mind was very muddled, and my mind was very muddled indeed. It all seemed so surreal. We tried not to jump to any conclusions before we received more information from the doctor. We didn't realize it at the moment, but this would be the first time of many times that we will be waiting for what is next. And the scripture I have is, "And we rejoice in the hope of the glory of God." Not only so, but we also rejoice in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. And hope does not disappoint us, because God has poured out his love into our hearts by the Holy Spirit, whom he has given us. Noah did it, Abraham did it, and Job did an especially good job at it. The pages of the Bible are filled with ordinary people who lived extraordinary lives, not necessarily because of their accomplishments, wealth, or wisdom, but because they persevered. Noah built an ark on dry land when everyone insisted he was crazy. Abraham left his country and his family for an uncertain future in an unknown land. Job suffered unbelievable loss and devastation, yet each of them just kept walking, through the difficulties, through the darkness, and through the unknown. Even though God didn't always reveal to them the course of events that would be unfolding in their lives, his love never failed, and he was faithful to keep his promises. Noah and his family's lives were spared. Abraham's descendants were given a land of their own and became a great nation. And God restored Job's health, wealth, and family beyond what it was before he suffered such tragic losses. All because they persevered. Of course, Jesus is our ultimate example. When the going got rough, he kept going. He suffered rejection, persecution, and unimaginable physical suffering, yet he didn't stop or give up or give in. He trusted God and just kept walking. In Jeremiah 33:3, God tells us that he has a desire to show us great and mighty things, and sometimes he just does that in the middle of very difficult circumstances. I just have to keep walking. That was all I could say to myself over and over again. What else can you do when you've been diagnosed with cancer? You just have to keep walking. Put one foot in front of the other and get through the next minute, the next hour, and eventually another day. And then I just want to read a couple of the pink ribbon thoughts, because I think those are a really important part of the book. One is, I've titled it, "I am surrounded by people, yet still feel alone." There are some days that I just feel lonely. That seems odd. So many people are thinking about me, praying for me, leaving me messages, sending me emails, bringing me food, yet I feel so lonely. I don't understand why. I feel like I'm in the center of an arena with all the people who love me, cheering me on from the stands. They're right there doing all they can to encourage me, but I'm in the center all by myself. I now see how a famous person surrounded by thousands of fans can still feel lonely. It is strange. I know that God is with me, and I'm thankful for that. He is in the center of the arena with me, but I keep seeing all those familiar faces around me, and I often feel a distance I cannot explain. So as you can see, the pink ribbon thoughts don't necessarily have answers. They just have kind of just the raw feelings that I experienced. And then one more, and I'll end with this one. It says, the title is Just Say Something. I know it's hard for people to know what to say, but saying anything is better than saying nothing. If they say nothing, then I wonder what they are thinking, and that is very difficult. They don't need to worry because there are no right words, but simply acknowledging that they know what's going on in my life brings me encouragement and comfort. I understand that people don't want to upset me, but what they don't realize is that nothing they can say can cause me to feel more sad or emotional than I already feel inside. If I have those feelings, they are coming from inside of me, not from another person. I just need to know that they remember I am engaged in this battle. I don't want pity. I just want to know that they know. I just wish they knew it would be better to say something than nothing at all. So, those are some kind of examples of that. You know, I think one of the most important things about this book is this book has the backdrop of my story of cancer, but the center stage is really supposed to be what God does in all of our lives when we go through trial and suffering. So, you know, I even almost decided, well, I won't even put a pink ribbon on it. I'll just make it about God's faithfulness through difficult times. But just really praying through it, I felt like God wanted me to kind of put it under this theme for now. But I really do believe that the truths in it are universal to anybody going through anything difficult. And I really do want God and the hope that He gives us through Christ to be the centerpiece. Because my story is really not that extraordinary. There are people that have gone through much more dramatic cancer situations and battles than me. But I think really what's important is what God taught me through that. So, anyway, okay, so we're supposed to have a Q&A. I don't know if anybody has any questions. But first, Courtney wanted to come up and share something that she's doing, and then y'all have any questions or something, y'all can let me know. But,
well, most of y'all know me, but I'm Courtney, and I'm 9 years old in the 4th grade. And my mom had a friend send her a couple cancer bracelets, and I thought, well, how about I make some of those? So what I do is I make bracelets and raise money for the Hope Project, which is a little project that allows her to give away books to people who really need them. So every bracelet that I sell for $10, that's my mom giving away a book and blessing them with food.
so you want to tell them that she's not selling them today here. But you want to tell them what
But
they're
we have a display that shows the styles, and so if you want to buy one, then you just put, you fill out this order form, and you circle the style you want, and there's a number 7, which is you just want a bracelet, and I'll just make you one of these and a different one. So you can come fill this up whenever you get your books signed.
And then you just mail it into her. And they're also available on my website. All the pictures of them are on my website. You can grab a card, Janecka.com. And Courtney's totally designed them herself. I'm so proud of her. And she's loving it. And she's having so much fun. And she's so incredibly creative. And so it's been really fun. So I wanted to let her share that with y'all. So, good job. Okay, y'all all talk to me, so y'all don't just like have any questions. Anybody have any questions?
Did you plan your sweater to match her?
I did! She said, you're going to be in front of a display and all your books are going to be up there. And I had a red sweater. I was like, that's going to look terrible.